And we're on this camera, I think. Welcome, everybody. It's another Friday night. And as you can see, I'm back home. Yay. So let's get you on the right camera because that would put a crick in my neck if I was on that one all night. So, I think I got everything going. I think everything's lit. I breezed home about 15 minutes ago. So, I had to get all my errands and what we call rat killing done today so that I could do stuff tomorrow because I'm going to be busy all day tomorrow. So, which brings me to kind of my rant for the evening. I have a rant. Yes, I do. I'll wait till a few more people get in here so I can rant to everybody. Yeah. But first I want to welcome everybody. If you're new here, obviously I'm Sly. It like says it all over back there, so it must be true. So Roy is the first one in. Good day, Sly. Good day, Roy. I just love that. True Budget EDC and Prepping. Hello all. Hello to you too. And welcome. I believe you're a first timer. So what would you like me to call you? Because that is a mouthful. And we want to welcome you to the family because on Friday night, it's kind of more of a family setting. We talk about whatever. And it could be cameras, it could be bags, it could be cars. I think one night we got stuck on rodents. So, it could be anything. Yeah. It's just a Friday night with friends, and you are now one of our friends. So, welcome. And Sammy's here. Hey, Sly. Hey, Sammy. How are you? Guess what, guys? The comments are big enough for me to read tonight. Yay! I'm really happy about that. Hi, A guys Z. Hey, guys. Hey, guys. Is that like a Michigan thing? Hey, guys. Like down here we just say y'all. Is that like a Michigan thing? And True Budget says, Rich. Hi, Rich. Nice to meet you. Guys, make Rich feel at home and welcome. And don't forget to, do that thumbs up thing that, I always forget to mention. So, okay. So, here goes my rant. So, I drive a 4-year-old truck that I bought brand new. Take it in for service every 10,000 miles. I think in the beginning it was every 5,000, but once it hit like 40 or 50, it's every 10,000, I think. Yeah. So anyway, I take it in, and I'm pretty sure I read in the manual somewhere that at 60,000 there was like a scheduled maintenance thing. Yeah. But I'm not big on reading manuals. Okay. So it's just like floating around in the back of my head, and maybe it's not a thing with this particular truck, but maybe it was just cars in general. I don't know. Anyway, so I took it in for its oil change and the tire rotation, what have you. And I asked the lady, Lewis, I'm glad you're here because you'll enjoy this. What is scheduled maintenance? Because I believe in preventive maintenance. I really, really do. Okay. What scheduled maintenance is coming up at 60,000 that I should be aware of? And she said, well, none. You really don't have any until 100,000. Okay. But since you ask, it does need a few things. There are a few things that need to be checked that, we check and that type of thing. And I'm like, sure. Yeah. Okay. Now the oil change, because I use synthetic oil, it's $100 bill. It's like $98. Okay. $100 bill. And I'm okay with that because you only change it every 10,000 miles. And it's like $40 if you do the 3,000 mile oil. So if you did 3 of those, that'd be 120. You do 1 10,000, it's 98. You see where my math is? Okay, so I'm okay with that. So she says if we do everything we're supposed to do, it'll be $648 today. Okay. Now, guys, understand this is at 5:30, getting close to 6 o'clock tonight. They're only open another hour. What can you possibly do to my truck that's going to be $648 in an hour? You might be able to change spark plugs, but you said I didn't need them till 100,000. So what could I possibly need that's $648? Now, up to this point, mind you, I drive a Toyota, and I have loved Toyota. They, like, the first 2 years, I think all the oil changes were free, and they treat you like a queen or a king or whatever you might be. And so this was like my first kind of negative experience with them. She said, well, we need to replace the cabin air filter, which I've done once. The engine oil filter, not the engine oil filter, I'm sorry. That's in the $98. The engine air filter, and your wiper blades are starting to look a little raggedy. Yes, I'm aware. We just got through winter. Okay. Do you need to do anything with a tool? Socket, wrench, screwdriver? For $648, I want some tools out. No, that was it. 2 air filters and 2 wiper blades. Even with parts. So that $648 included the $100 oil change. Okay, now we're down to $548. I want you guys to do the math with me. We're down to $548. Let's say there's $75 in parts, which is way on the high side. We're now down to about $475. And your guy in the back is not even going to open his toolbox. That's my rant for the evening. We'll move on from here. Obviously I did not have it done. I stopped at Walmart on the way home and bought the parts for $50. I even got the really good wiper blades, and I'll put everything in tomorrow. But think about all the women out there who can't or don't know how, like my really good friend. Like, I have a lot of really good friends that probably don't even know how to pop their hood. They either call me or they call somebody. They don't know how to change a wiper blade. So I get where dealers can come off with charging this much, but no. Okay, here we go. Let's just move on with the show, shall we? Okay, so where was I at? I was somewhere. Rich was saying, nice to meet everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, I'm done with my rant now, so we can just move on. I just think it's like highway robbery that people are asked to pay this much for 2 air filters and 2 wiper blades. So, Lewis is here. Hi, everyone. That was my rant for the evening, Lewis, was, yeah, I got, like, shocked at when I went to the dealership. So, and I have them change my oil because they've been doing it since the truck was new, and it just, yeah, but really, okay. Roy is talking to Rich, saying, okay, so Rich, everybody here has their unique brand of humor, okay? Roy is from Australia, and so he talks funny. I don't know where you're from, Rich, but Roy is from Australia, and he has an accent, and we love his sense of humor, but So he's saying rich as in Richard or rich as in I am wealthy. Yeah, that type of thing. I think it's rich as in Richard, Roy. Just letting you know. Oh, see there? Richard. Yeah. He's broke like the rest of us. Especially if you're paying $648 for two air filters and two wiper blades. Roy's saying, just peeked at your site. I like budget and I like to be prepared. Right? Right? We all kind of lean towards that whole budget thing. I know at one time Scott was carrying a lens around in a brown paper sack. We finally did talk him into getting a real camera bag, but, Rich says, me too for sure, right? I will have to check that out because I love bags, and I make a lot of videos concerning bags. So, in fact, I was kind of gearing up to make something that somebody could carry for, like, that had everything in it for less than $50, and it wouldn't be a brown paper sack. I'm just throwing that out there, Scott. Gear and lots of other stuff. Yeah, that's why we just we talk about a little bit of everything and, what have you. Roy is saying 648 time to do it yourself, right? Yeah, that just, I don't even know how much synthetic oil costs now because I haven't done my own for so long. But my son does his own oil, so he's got the whole setup as far as how to dispose of the oil and, where to take it and what to put it in and all this stuff. So guess what, son? If you're listening, guess who's changing my oil from now on? Only because. Lewis says, wow, what a markup, right? Guys, I think we are in the wrong business. Now, I realize they have a really fancy building and, they want me to help pay for that, and I get that. But come on, at least make it include something you have to get a socket out for. That truck, everything on that truck is a 10 millimeter. At least make it something you have to get that 10 millimeter socket out for. If you're going to charge me that much money, at least open your toolbox. That's all I'm saying. Lewis says, I'm glad you did it yourself. Well, I will do it tomorrow when I have daylight. And I've changed so the cabin filter, this is a new thing for me. Because the older cars never had a cabin filter. And so the first time they said, well, your cabin filter needs to be changed, I'm thinking, I don't smoke. So what could possibly be an air pollutant in my cabin? It's just me riding around, okay? A lot of times I ride with windows down. So what could possibly be in that filter? But just for grins and giggles and because somebody, thinks it's necessary, I did check it. And oh my gosh, there must be, like, the filter itself is about yay big. Okay, it's a good size filter. There must be a hole between the engine and the cab that's about yay big because it was completely full of leaves, like not broken up leaves, full size leaves had somehow gotten inside the cabin onto the filter. Like a lot of leaves. So I've already changed that once. And actually the cabin filter was worse than the engine filter. Like the air filter. So, but I've already changed them both once. I will change them again. Just because I probably should. But, yeah. I should probably make a video of that for other women. Girls, you can do this yourself. Anyway, on to nicer things. Roy says, last service, they didn't turn off the dash cam, didn't do the service, but drove my car to the supermarket. Okay, thank you, Roy, because they said my wiper blades need to be changed. They were streaking. They didn't turn the wipers on. My windshield is not the cleanest right now. It's definitely not like camera worthy. Okay. We've had a lot of wind and dust, and it's Oklahoma, Dust Bowl, right? And so my windshield is not the cleanest right now. And I would know if someone hit the little wiper, the little wiper thing, squirt water, that cleaner stuff up there, and wipered it. And they did not. Because it was the same dust spots as when I drove in. So I do agree that I need new wiper blades, because you know how when wiper blades wear out, they all get that little dangly bit of rubber? The rest of the wiper goes and this dangly bit kind of stays behind. Okay, I got one of those. So I do agree that they need to be changed, but they didn't turn them on to check. So pretty sure they didn't drive to the supermarket though, because it never got it never got out of range of my phone. So I'm just saying. Louise says, I've heard horror stories from my niece. That's crazy, to Roy. Yeah. So I'm wondering, do they just do this to the women? Would they not have brought, like if one of you guys had walked in there, would it have been like $348? But they see a woman, so they're like, oh, $648, ma'am. Yeah, no. They picked on the wrong girl, I'm just saying. Rich says, New York, but I live in Western Massachusetts. See, I can say Massachusetts. Okay? I always had trouble with that one until I went there. And then somebody that actually lives there showed me how to say it. Because why y'all think you need a state name that is this long, I don't know. But a lot of people up there just say, like he did, like Western Mass. Yeah. They don't even say the whole name. It's kind of like, no, we pretty much say Oklahoma. Yeah. So, anyway, Rich, I'm in Oklahoma. Some of these guys are from Australia. Some are from Florida. We have a couple come in from California. They haven't made an appearance yet. So we're just kind of all over the globe. Sammy is New Jersey. So it took me a minute to remember where everybody lives. I've actually met Luis, and there'll be a fella in here named Peter. I've met him. I drove out to Florida, and I got to meet both of them. So I have not gotten to meet Sammy, and obviously I've never been to Australia. So from the way Roy and Jeff talk, Jeff's my other Aussie guy, and there's Shane, geeky nerdy techie. From the way they talk, I think Australia would be a lovely place to visit. I just have not ever gotten to do that. But never say never. Roy is talking to Liz, said, I wouldn't have checked the service if I hadn't seen the dash cam. Right? I didn't even think about that. I could check my dash cam. Yep. Good idea, Roy. Good idea. And there's Kyle. Kyle is another Okie. Kyle, we have a new guy in the room, so play nice. Hey Sly, I just got done recording the first episode of Chaos Kitchen. Then some food got stuck in my throat. Oh my gosh. And threw up, but I'm here now. By the way, while recording, my camera overheated 3 times. Really? Which camera were you using? That's crazy. Was it, I think you have an R6. Maybe, I think. Yeah, my little cameras, now, this camera has never left the tripod. I bought it just for this, and it probably never will leave the tripod. I actually was recommending this camera to a lady who wanted a point and shoot with interchangeable lenses. And that's pretty much what this is. This camera occasionally leaves the tripod if I need... Oh, I could go to that camera, can't I? This camera occasionally leaves the tripod if I need more than 1 or 2 cameras. But I try to use the the other cameras before taking this one off, because it's just kind of set the way I want it set. Both of these are. And so I just pretty much leave these alone. But this is the M6 Mark II, so occasionally it does have to come with me. Occasionally. So, Rich, I have a multitude of cameras. I do tend to overbuy. If you need a bag, I'll probably have it. I'm just saying. Yeah. Rich says, I have quite a few bay videos. Probably bag videos. Alpaca, Godium, I think it's Goidium. I'm stuck on Fall Raven at the moment. So, and it's Fall Raven. You have to sound kind of mad when you say that. I love the little fox on the front, obviously. My thing's a fox, right? I have a thing for foxes, but the name, I'm not sure what nationality is, but whenever anybody says it correctly, they sound angry. So it's Fall Raven or something like that. But anyway, so I digress, and I do that a lot. Like rabbit holes, I go down them all the time. Okay, so I have, because I was doing a lot of sling bag videos, and so I got a Fall Raven bag, little high coast, I think is what it was called. They've got like 2 major lines. They've got the high coast and the Kraken, I think. One has got the cute little fox on it, and the other one has like the big fox with the circle, and I guess that's the one people try to imitate or whatever. And so this was the one with the cute little fox. That thing is so tiny. Like, I just had this discussion with someone today about how off the brands are as far as their leader rating. Because I'm pretty sure a leader is a leader no matter where you are. It's kind of like an inch is an inch is an inch, right? It doesn't change sizes depending on, it's not like 16 ounces of dry versus 16 ounces of wet, I don't think. But yet, Cotopaxi, for example, has a bag that's rated at 2 liters that's the same size as the TomTalk 4 liter. So, I don't know how they're doing these rating things. But anyway, this Fall Raven little hip bag, it's the cutest little thing. But it's like this big. Like my phone and my keys, that's it. Maybe you might get a wallet in there, maybe. And that's it. So I would only carry that if, like, maybe I was, I don't know when I would carry that. Because I always carry more than that, right? So I don't know if you've seen any of my videos, Rich, but I don't even have it with me. It's sitting by the front door. But I always carry a flashlight, a little knife with a little pair of scissors in it, like chapstick, business cards, always. And so any bag that I get has got to carry a minimum of that. And then if I can expand and carry like a little medicine thing, that'd be great. But this Fall Raven thing is so tiny. I would dig it out, but I don't. I'm sure it's in the box of the box. I have like a big box of sling bags. Yeah. And I understand being stuck on something at the moment. I'm kind of torn right now between alpaca and Boundary Supply. So I only have 2 Boundary Supply things, but I'm probably going to order another one this week because I am really, you guys are going to laugh. You're going to laugh so hard. I don't like the key lanyards in most bags. Not a fan. Until I got the Boundary Supply, and I love their key lanyard system. I love it. Absolutely. And the fact that they use a lot of magnets. I like that. Right? So, Roy said, we just had a power outage for a few days. Most people didn't even have a flashlight. And I lent out my generator to a family that needed it more. Oh my goodness. You know, is your power, I guess your power is back on now if you're on the internet. Was it storm caused? Was it? Elaborate more. We need more information, Roy. Scott says, my mom is watching from her home too. Well, that's cool. Hi, Scott's mom. You may not be able to chat, so we'll just include you in our conversation. It's so good to have you. Scott is a lovely young man. You did right by him, Mom. Rich says, I've got about 50 lights, mostly from affiliates, but I have a gin too. A gin. I don't know what a gin is. So I'm assuming you're in the Olight family, and I actually, when I got into lights, it's just a normal, that's another one of those rabbit holes. It's another, yeah. I got into Through Night, and I actually have 2 of them are in my truck right now. This is the one, I don't know if you can, it's so little, I don't know if you can see it. See my little baby flashlight? Come on. Come on. There we go. Okay. This rides around in my pocket every single day. If I don't have pockets, it's in the whatever bag I'm carrying at the time. And then this bad boy, this one right here. Come on. Come on. You can do it. You can do it. Sort of, kind of. Maybe not. Anyway, this bad boy will actually blind you. It's pretty good size. I don't even remember really how many lumens it is. But, so I gave one as a birthday gift to somebody. And he carries it in his pocket all the time. That's one of the bigger, it's not as big as this, but it's long and skinny. He carries it in his pocket. And he's had, I think, a switch go bad and something else. And they did right by him. So they replaced it and did what they needed to do. And so, yeah, I've been very happy. This is AAA battery. All the rest of mine are rechargeable. But I've been really happy with, it's a company called Through Night. And they're not as pricey as Olight, but they are bright. I did a video way back. Don't bother even looking for it because it was a horrible video. It was when I was first starting, and my cat got in the video, and yeah, it was not a good experience. But anyway, and it put the other one I had, I've given to my grandson. It was a Lumix. And I thought that thing was bright until I got these Through Nights. And then it's like, whoa! So, but yeah, let me know, Roy, if it was Mother Nature that took out your power, or poles went down, or, whatever. Or it says, my 1984 car had a carbon cabin filter. If I had a car that had a cabin filter, I didn't know it. which the last new car I bought, it was a truck. I don't seem to buy cars new. I seem to buy trucks new. Was a 98 Dodge 1 ton. And that was in 98. So this truck I bought in 2019, and the 98 I don't believe had a cabin filter in it. I had that truck for about 10 years. And if it did, I was never made aware. So, and it too, because it was new, it had a lifetime oil change thing through the dealer I bought it from. And so it didn't matter where I lived. I took it back to that dealer for every oil change. It had a big diesel engine in it. And yeah, so I just took it to them and had them change the oil for 10 years. And then I sold it. Lewis says, yes, cabin air filter is the one thing separating the outdoors from the inside of the vehicle. Right? Yeah, that was news to me. I didn't know. And so when I changed it, it was full. I mean, like a lot of leaves and stuff. So, yeah. Lewis is laughing at me. Dangly wipers. Well, you know what I'm talking about. They all have that. It's like your tires. When your tires are ready to get replaced, they have a piece of thread that runs. Now, it's not literally a piece of like little tiny thread. It's like a cord type thing. And you can start seeing it, right? The last set of tires I had, I changed them in, I think, July or August or September, somewhere in the summer. But the original set that came with the truck had a green cord. And when you could start seeing the cord, you knew it was time to replace the tires. And so I'm assuming windshield wipers are the same way, that when you get that little dangly bit of rubber, it's time to replace them, right? It's my story and I'm sticking to it. Roy says, garages tend to try to take advantage of women more. I do believe that. After today, and it was a woman service advisor, right? And I know, because my face is, I don't hide my feelings well. And I know I had to look at her like, woman, you've lost your mind. You're talking to the wrong girl here. Because, first of all, she couldn't drive my truck out of the bay. It's a standard. It's the what do they call that? The anti-theft of the millennials or something. Yeah, she didn't know how to drive standard. So, you know, it was funny. Lewis says, no, they do it to anyone who doesn't know. Sad to say, most men nowadays don't know either and will be paying the $648. I'm not married, but can you imagine the conversation? Oh, honey, I took my car into the shop today and it's going to be $600. It was $648 to bring it back up to speed. Oh, okay. What'd they do? Put new spark plugs in? No. New hoses? A new belt? No. Air filters. And wipers. I'm pretty sure there'd be divorce papers in the mailbox by, next week. I mean, really? Rich says it's a native name. Algonquin, I think. Algonquin. Okay. That sounds very native. Algonquin. Algonquin. It's all good. Is somebody's phone ringing? I swear I hear a phone. It could be my neighbor across the street, though, too. So, you know, how they sit out into their vehicle and listen to music. Louis says, Aiden still plays with his keyboard. That's cool. When I went to Florida, I had my kids are grown. I have a grandson. And my I don't remember which kid it was. I think it was my daughter. Anyway, had this keyboard that had sat in my house for, I know, 10 years. Nobody ever played it. Occasionally I would get it out and plink on it, and then within 5 minutes put it back up. So it literally was just taking up space. And Luis has a son who I was told just went gaga over a piano. Well, I didn't have a whole piano, nor could I transport one even if I did. But I had this keyboard, and so when I went to Florida, I took the keyboard for his son, and I think it's 88 keys. It's a big one. It takes up quite a bit of space. Sorry, Louis. Because I know you're tight on space, but I'm glad he's still getting some use out of it. That's cool. Okay. Kyle has a Canon R7, and it overheated 3 times. See, that would annoy me to the point of buying a different camera. Like at Christmas, which camera was it? The M6 had the new SanDisk memory card in it, and it gave me some problems where I only got, I want to say, 23 minutes recording out of that memory card. I don't think it was the camera. I think it was the memory card. And SanDisk went from a 170 or 180 to a 200. And it was the first time I had really used these 200s. And I'm pretty sure it was the memory card. But, so as a backup or a second point of view camera, I had the Osmo Action 4. And it did get ridiculously hot. Now, it recorded for a pretty good stretch. It was over an hour. But it did get ridiculously hot when I moved it from where we were unwrapping gifts to where my daughter was making Christmas breakfast. Now, I put a new battery in and started it right back up, and it did fine. But to touch it, it did get stupid hot. So I'm suspect of it being out in the sun on a kayak all day. And the original Osmo Actions I've had 0 issues with. So sometimes I'm just not sure that with all the upgrades and everything that they put on the new stuff, if it's a good thing. I don't know. I never had any complaints about the original Osmo. So, I don't know. Now, I hadn't really planned on using the new one on the kayak because I have 2 of the originals. And so that's my forward and rear facing cameras. But it shocked me when I went to pick it up how hot it was. So Kyle, was the camera actually hot to the touch? Or did you just get an overheating message? Because I know Canon was big on that, and you may have to upgrade your firmware. Rich says, I use my phone, but have a multitude of knives. So that, and I don't think I even brought it in here. That was one of the things that I had put in this budget. It basically is like building an EDC bag at Walmart with the absolute cheapest stuff they have. I don't even know where. Oh, yeah, here it is. Rich, you're going to laugh at me so hard. So, for $3, you can get a flashlight at Walmart for your EDC bag. Now, would I carry this out in the... Would I have this be my only flashlight? Absolutely not. But, if you're a young man or a young woman, doesn't matter, and your priority is your little babies, which it should be, instead of an EDC bag, and you only have $50 to spend, but you really, really, really want to get into this EDC lifestyle, this would work. I mean, it's bright enough. You could seat it like change a tire. I wouldn't take it out in the woods or try to do any kind of survival anything with it. But it is a flashlight, or as Roy would say, it is a torch. And it was $3. So my through-night flashlights are a little bit pricier than that. Like a lot. They're not as pricey as the Olights, but they're getting up there. Yeah. But I just wanted to see if I could recreate, and so I found a knife, a flashlight, a bag. It would get you, and I don't know what else I put in there. It would get you started, probably a first aid kit. I'm hugely big on first aid kits because I have a 4-year-old grandson. And I'm a mom. So even in the diaper bag, I had like a little first aid kit type thing, you know. So, yeah, I'm just hugely big on always having Band-Aids with me. Not that I rarely use them for myself, but, you know, I'm always around kids that get scraped up and skin knees and that type of thing. So, I just wanted to see if I could build an EDC bag that actually had some useful things in it. And the Walmart knife, I think it was $5. I'm 100% sure it was. Probably will not hold, like the blade will not stay sharp for very long. So, having said that, and if you're building a $50 EDC bag, you probably don't know how to sharpen a knife. For $6, I've upgraded. I'm giving people options here. For $6, you can get one of these. No knife sharpening needed, because it takes those X-Acto knife blades. And so if it gets dull, you just switch out the whole blade, right? For $6, I would carry this over the $5 Walmart blade any day of the week. Yeah. So, I don't know. I've done so many of these that now I'm looking for like ways to do stuff that are outside the box, right? Kyle says Fjallraven sounds German. Yeah, it does. It does kind of. Ooh, I got it right. High Coast. Did I get it right? I don't know. High Coast and Kanken. Okay. I like the High Coast just because it's got the smaller fox on it, and the Kanken has like the circle with the bigger fox. So I like the little guy. But yeah, Swedish. There we go. Actually means Arctic fox in Swedish. Yes. I did read that somewhere. I couldn't remember the nationality. But I didn't realize the Swedish language always sounds so... Well, and maybe it doesn't. Maybe it's just that particular name. But it always sounds so angry when people say it right. Roy says, China seems to have very small leaders. Right? Like, I'm pretty sure the Tom Talk is probably Chinese. Maybe. But there seems to be no rhyme or reason. If it says it's a 4-liter bag, I expect it to be about yay big. That's most of my 4-liter bags are about like that. And so for like Cotopaxi, their bag that is the same size as another bag that says it's 4-liter, and Cotopaxi says it's 2-liter. So yeah, go figure. I don't know. I just got the Kanken Hit Pack. Okay, it's probably a little bit bigger than the High Coast, because let me tell you, I wish this thing was handy, because this thing is just it is tiny. I mean, like, a guy probably wouldn't even realize you had it on, right? So if you're out running around in athletic shorts and a t-shirt and you don't have any place to put anything, yeah, I could see this coming in handy. But in Oklahoma, we don't have that kind of weather but for about 3 months. And then it's either spring or fall or, heaven forbid, winter. Um, and so it's really kind of on the small side for... It would be very handy to have it like under a coat because you wouldn't even be able to see it. So there you go. And there's my other Aussie. Hello, Sly. How are you? Will not be stopping. Just popped in to say hello. We'll catch up later. Off to the road. Is it? Are you trying to say rodeo? Is that how y'all say rodeo? I'm thinking maybe it might be. And if it is rodeo, awesome. The obviously the barrel racing and the bull riding are my two favorites. But I live in Oklahoma and we have lots and lots and lots of rodeos here. So if that's what you're saying, more power to you. Rich says, I'm an alpaca affiliate. I have like so many bags and pouches from them. I cut the key lanyards out. So a couple of the alpacas pass mustard with their lanyard, but not very many. Yeah. So I just kind of, I don't cut them out, but I just kind of leave them stuffed down in there because a lot of the bags I resell, Facebook Marketplace and I are huge friends. And so I resell a lot of them. But from what I understand, it's a little difficult to get an alpaca affiliate. So more power to you. Yeah, that kind of means you're somewhat important, I think. And there's Mr. Peter from Peter's Kitchen. Hi guys, grabbed a bite to eat. And looks like you're about to make a kitchen video, perhaps? Somebody needs to. And Lewis is waving to Peter. So Rich, kind of to give you a little backstory, this Peter guy is the one that kind of started all this. So you might check his channel. He's got several channels. He does a Friday live stream, Peter Greg Live. He has a camera channel, he calls his big channel, and then he has a kitchen channel, Peter's Kitchen. So he likes cameras and cooking. And I'm not a good cook, so I've learned a lot from him. Generator. Okay. Generator. Oh, Roy loaned his generator to some neighbors that apparently needed it more than he did. Lewis says, hey, I have one of those lights. I think I sent you one. Did I not send you one of these little ones? So I got like 20 of these. I ordered 10, I got 20. And they didn't, it was, I guess, too much of a hassle to return them on their end. So they just let me keep them. And so, yeah, I was handing these out like crazy for a while when I first got them. I don't even know where the rest of them are, to be honest with you. I think I probably still have 10 left, and I don't know where they are. But yes, I love my little light. I carry that thing. I have a green one somewhere too, and I carry one or the other all the time. Rich says, "O lights, through nights, Wubin, Workos, Trustfire, Rovion." The list goes on and on. Yes. There was another one in there that was trying to get me to try their light. I thought it started with an F. But I have never had any problem with Through Night. And once I find a company I like, I pretty much tend to stick with them. I have not found the perfect bag yet, but Boundary Supply and Alpaca are coming pretty close. I really do like the Boundary Supply stuff, although they chastised me for making videos with discontinued colors. Yeah, there was that. But I really want to try a, it's called a 13. The name will come to me. But they're expensive. And so before I jump off and buy one, and now I can't remember what the name of it is. The model is called a 13, but they have several different ones. And I like a small bag for like my daily carry. Like this size. That's about just right for me. I think it's about 15 liters maybe. And so this company, that I can't remember the name of, they have a 13 liter, and then it jumps up to 20. And so I'm really debating, do I want the 13 or the 20? And believe it or not, they're about the same price. So, yeah, I don't know. I have one anchor light. They make a few lights. Okay, I didn't, the anchor stuff I have is usually, like plug-in stuff. He left and came back. I actually just bought 2 through night Archer Pro V in different colors. You know, that might be what this is. Does it say on it? I don't know. Not there. Oh, Catapult V6. That's what that is. But yeah, that thing is stupid bright. But I do like through night. So you sound like you're as hooked as the rest of us. And there is his, I think that's his big channel right there, Peter Gregg. Is that Through Night the Saber? I have that and it's wonderful. So the 2 in my truck are I want to say they're the TT20, which is the one that you had. That's the one I gave you. Now, I know you've swapped them a couple of times, so you may have something different. And Sammy says, congrats on the 600 subscribers, right? Yeah, I'm kind of blown away. Because I got a little sick, and so I haven't made a video for a little bit. And so I'm kind of blown away that it just continues to grow. But I'm thrilled. I'm just surprised. Yeah. Peter says, good catch, Sammy. Congrats on 600 plus subscribers. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm still just like, wow. It's kind of amazing. Peter says, thumbs up and subscribe, all you guys lurking out there. Well, do we have lurkers? I don't think so. No. I'm not seeing lurkers. My R7 overheated a number of times. So, you know, Yolonzi makes that fan. Peter, I think, actually got one. They're not expensive. They're like 30 bucks. And they go on the back where the where the screen comes out. You put it on the back and it just acts like a little fan. And then when you're ready to put the camera up, you just take the fan off and close it up and you're good to go. But it would annoy me if my camera would not work without the fan. And it has not been hot enough here to have cameras overheat lately. Just saying. I mean, the last couple of days we've been in the 60s, so it's not like it's cold by any stretch. But that's not hot enough, I wouldn't think, to make a camera overheat unless you had it like directly over steam or a heat source that was blowing up on the camera. Then I could see maybe it overheating. Maybe. Uh, yes, millennial anti-theft system. Yes, this girl was probably, I'm going to say, early 30s maybe, and didn't know how to drive a stick. So I find that hilarious. Massachusetts is native. Okay, yeah, I'm thinking it is, and that's why it's. You would think if I can say Oklahoma, I could say Massachusetts, but so many of the cities up there, y'all just like will drop letters, and we just don't want to add them. It's I don't know why. I don't know why you do that, but Worcester is one of my favorites. It is not spelled the way it sounds at all. It's spelled like Worcester, Worcester, or something like that. I was informed it's pronounced Worcester. Oklahoma really doesn't have a whole lot of those. We pronounce every single letter. Maybe not the way you would think, but yes, every single letter. And if it's not pronounced, it's because it turns a vowel into something strange. I'm just saying. Like the Indians, first of all, they didn't know English when they were making up all these towns. Okay? So if something has an Indian name, they had pretty much free gratis to do whatever they wanted because they didn't speak English at the time. So I'm kind of sticking up for my Indian friends. Roy says the batteries don't seem to last very long in cheap flashlights. Well, there's that. And what is ironic, where'd that thing go? Okay, so look at the size difference of these two. Okay, this one takes 3 AAA batteries. This takes 1. And this one is brighter than this one. It's also more expensive, but go figure. Yeah, why would you just carry something? But a lot of guys don't like, I mean, you know, that would be like too small for a lot of guys. They want something more this size to make, because y'all have big hands, to make them feel like they've got a hold of a flashlight and it's a flashlight. You know, where women, we really don't care. If this gets the job done, we're fine with this. And this is a lot brighter than that one, so this is the one I'm carrying. But, you know, to each their own. That's why there's so many different things. Kyle says, well, it just stopped recording. After the second time, I saw a thermometer on the viewfinder. Okay, I didn't know they had those. I'm using firmware 1.4.0. I don't have an R7, so I don't know what the latest firmware is on that. I know on the maybe the M6. I know on the G7X Mark III, as soon as I got it, I had to update the firmware because it had a known focusing issue. Come on, Canon. Why would you send out a camera with a known focusing issue? Hello? Anyway, they did a firmware update that fixed that. And so you just had to download the firmware update. But I'm on some of those, like the website for the Canon G7X Mark III. And a lot of people don't know that firmware exists. They don't know that if any firmware exists. I mean, you figure they just bought a point-and-shoot camera. They don't know anything about firmware, right? So, yeah, you give them that information, and they go and do it, and they're your best friend for life, you know. So, yeah, go figure. But yeah, I don't know if the R7. I'm sure they probably do. If Canon would release a camera with a known issue, then I'm pretty sure they know about the overheating, and they probably released a firmware thing too. I'm sure it's probably just a timer or something in there. And the firmware probably magically fixes it. Yeah. I'm kind of getting suspect of some of these companies. A little bit. Rich says those Walmart lights are better than nothing. Right? I mean, the light I'm carrying is about $80 Trust Fire, but I didn't pay for it. It was sent to me to review. So, yeah, you're 100% accurate. This is literally better than nothing. Period. I mean, I guess you could have a lighter out there trying to see by firelight, and that would be better than that. But yeah, that's not going to get you very far. And you're right. I mean, the two in my truck, they're about 80 bucks each. And they're amazing flashlights. But not everybody is going to spend 80 bucks for a flashlight. And I totally get that. You know, I was a single mom. I had 2 kids. There was a time in my life where I wouldn't have spent 80 bucks for a flashlight. So I completely understand. Oh, Roy, I love you to pieces, man. I misread that. I am glad I didn't say that out loud. I like big bodies, camera bodies. They don't seem to overheat much. This is true. This is true. And I have a feeling when you typed that, you knew how that was going to come out. I'm learning to read internally before I say it out loud. Yes, I never once had my ADD overheat. I don't even think it will. I think it stops recording at 30 minutes, which is annoying, but it has never ever overheated. So, and I've never had, I had the M6 out in Texas when it was 100 degrees, and it filmed for a good solid 30 minutes, and it never overheated. Canon's 30-minute time limit made me turn it off and then restart it, but it never overheated. But I was using that old memory card that was 170. I'd never used these 200s until Christmas, and so I'm blaming the memory card. Kyle's saying hi to Peter. Yes. Maybe it was Phoenix Lights. Yes, that's exactly who it was. Thank you. I just couldn't think of the name. I don't have any of their lights, so. Roy says all my current torches use the 18,650 batteries, and they last well. I believe that's what all 3 of mine use. We're gonna find out. But I'm thinking that number sounds familiar, Roy. No. 26,650. Now, the ones in my truck are a little bit smaller than this. So, but this thing lasts forever. 5,000 milliamp hours. Yeah, it's remarkable. This thing it's big, but, and I just dropped it on the floor. It's big, but if I was going to be out in the woods, it might be on the small side. I'm just saying. Roy says, but I like to lurk. I don't think Peter minds you lurking, and you don't lurk, Roy. You participate. He just wants everybody to hit that thumbs up button. Rich says 18650s have great ROROs. 21.7 or even longer, but they are higher milliamp and bigger battery overall. Yes, and that one is even bigger. Yes, that is exactly what I'm talking about. That is pronounced in Oklahoma Wooster. Wooster? Yeah. So if you put your Boston accent on it, Wooster. But see, there's like C's and E's and ERs at the end, and there's just all these letters in here that y'all don't, nobody cares about them. But they're there, so you would think you would say them. Phoenix lights are pricey. Yes, they are. I was going to get one, but it was like 120, and I was like, I probably shouldn't, right? That's kind of how I feel about the bag right now that I'm looking at. It's like 180 bucks for a backpack that's this big. Now, having said that, I don't have them here close where I can pull one up, but the Boundary Supply bags, those are amazing. The first one I got was like their top of the line Prima system, and it's big. On me, it's like probably borders on too big, but that thing is an amazing bag. And so then I got the next size down, which is the Errant, and I've carried that for the last month because I took that up to my son's with me, and for 2 weeks I pretty much stayed up there. There are things that I like about it better. I do like the magnets all over the place, but there are things I like about the Prima bag better. So it's a real toss-up. And those are really big bags for me. Like, I'm 5'4", so everything is proportionately, I need stuff smaller. Yeah, than you guys are 6 feet tall. Plus, if I don't know if you've noticed, because I think I look fairly proportionate, right? But if you put me next to a guy who's 6 feet tall, like my son, his shoulders are like this wide. Mine aren't. Okay. So he can carry a lot bigger bag than what looks right on me. If I put on one of these bigger bags, I look like the bag is too big for you. So do I go a 13 liter or a 20 liter? Yeah, that is the question. There's like, it's negligible. There's like $5 or $6 difference between the two. So, and I really, the name of the company will come to me. I can't think of what it is right now. It'll come. There's Charles. How you doing? Charles is another Floridian. Hey, Sly. How you doing, bud? I have seen where you've been. I don't know that you've been live for a minute or two, but I have seen you put some stuff on Facebook. That's where I've seen you. We have a new guy with us. His name's Rich. Say hello. Charles is top-notch photographer. He does real good. And he's a Fujifilm shooter, which they came out with a point and shoot that's like $1,500. Little on the pricey side for a point and shoot, but it intrigued me because I don't have to buy lenses for it. Rich says, I have an Alpaca Elements backpack. They sent me two actually. One was 180, the other like 220, but they are solid. That's a lot of money. It is a lot of money for a backpack. And I looked at the alpaca. I think I really want a backpack that's X-Pack. I think, because I have like tons and tons of bags. So I don't have that many. I don't have any backpacks that are X-Pack. Now I have quite a few pouches and fanny packs that are X-Pack, and I love them. So I'm thinking I like a backpack that's made out of X-Pack, but until I get it, I won't know. And they're around 180 bucks to start. So there's that. Charles says, wow, 603 subscribers. Well, no. Peter has like 39,000, Charles. So, now perhaps more than his Friday night thing, but no, Peter has way more. Yeah, Peter's big league. I'm not. So, Rich says, yeah, one is X50, the other is the limited VX41. So, yeah, somebody was making them out of, or not backpacks, but sling bags out of the lighter weight. I just watched a video on this actually, and they had one that was lighter weight, and then the other, they were comparing three bags, and the other two were the heavier, and they voted for the heavier weight. So I'm thinking there is something to that. And Mookie made it in. Howdy. Howdy. How y'all doing? Mookie says, I'm late to the party. Are there any snacks left? There's always snacks left. Right? Scott brings enough food to feed an army every week. There's always snacks left. The VX21 is lighter. Yes. And I think this guy was giving kudos to the... he was reviewing sling bags, but he was giving kudos to the Tom Talk for being so cost effective for its size. But Charles says, I haven't done any live stream for a while because I'm teaching at a university part-time just to do something. Retirement can get boring if you're not busy. You know, I can't imagine. Now, I'm not retired, so when I have time off and people find out I have time off, I don't get any time to myself. Okay? It's like, oh, you're off. You want to do this. You want to do this. You want to do this. And so I imagine that when I do retire, I'll probably be busier than I am now, because at least now I can say, well, I have to work, and I work overnights, so I have to sleep during the day, and so that pretty much gets everybody to leave me alone until the weekend, and then on the weekend I make up for it because I run like crazy and try to get everything done. So yes, I think I will be busier when I retire than I am now. Yeah. And I have noticed that on the days that I'm off, I forget to do stuff like eat. And on the days that I work, because I have a somewhat of a schedule, I eat at the same times, those 4 days. You know, I sleep pretty much the same time. I get up, same time. I have a routine. And on the days I'm off, it's like I just try to cram as much as I possibly can into the day, and I'm off and running. So, yes, I don't know if when I retire, if that will improve. It probably should. Mookie says, I remember a bag I had back in the late 80s. I wish I had that bag. It was great. Canvas with rubber parts on the bottom. Divider's perfect. I've not been able to find one like it since. Okay, so that's so funny that you say that, because in the late 70s, probably 78, 79, I had a bag by a company called The Athlete's Foot, I think was the name of the company. I don't even think they're still around. But anyway, and it was a little bitty. It was not very big. It was about yay big, and it was a canvas duffel bag. And it was probably about yay big around, right? So it was not very big. Best bag I ever had. Now, is that a true statement? Or in my mind, do I remember it being, it was a good bag, don't get me wrong, because otherwise I wouldn't have it stuck in my head that it was the best bag I ever had. But if I compared it, because I have tried to buy other canvas duffel bags, and they've been not as nice. Okay. Now, have they truly not been as nice? Because I don't have that bag anymore to compare. So, did this bag get a lot nicer over the years in my memory? Or was it actually a better bag? I have a really good quality canvas duffel bag now that's supposed to be close to the same size. It's not the same bag. I've tried it. I took it on vacation with us somewhere, and it just did not perform as well. So I don't know if I have glorified this bag in my memory and nothing will ever live up to it, or if it was actually really that good of a bag made back in the 70s, right? We're going to go with that it was. But I have a feeling the truth is somewhere probably in the middle of all of that. It was probably a nice bag back then, but I'm not sure it was as good of a bag as I have made it out to be in my memory. Well, y'all have a great night. I'm headed to sleep. Thank you for the chat. Hey, thanks for coming in, Rich. I hope we do this every Friday night. Peter comes on at 10 o'clock your time. And now his shows generally are a little bit more, he has a plan. We just come and chat. All right. Whatever anybody wants to chat about. I had to get that rant out of my system. So, we just chat about whatever. Sometimes I have things to show you. Sometimes I don't. So, it's just whatever. Peter is a little more with it. And then on Saturday night, Luis does a show, and he always has something. He is the best teacher ever. And he always has something that he's teaching, or like he just recently got the Apple thing, APV. Now I don't remember what it stands for. But anyway, it's where you can see like the computer thing. Yeah. Man, I need some of those memory pills. Virtual. Anyway, you probably know what I'm talking about. Anyway, he just got one of those a couple weeks ago. And so he's been showing everybody what it is and how it works. And I can hardly work a cell phone. Okay, so it's way out of my league. But, so there's a couple that you might like. Mookie says, yes, the one I had was like a canvas duffel bag, right? So did they just really make these phenomenally well back then? And they forgot how now? Or, because, all it didn't have a spot for shoes. It didn't have any pockets on the outside. It was just a one zipper dump thing. But you could get more stuff in that little bitty bag. I don't know how they did it. It was like a Mary Poppins bag, right? You could just just keep put. Yeah. Oh, I got one more thing to put in. It would fit. You could have that thing filled to maximum capacity, and oh, I forgot the flashlight. It'll fit. It was just it was an amazing bag. Charles says, now I'm getting ready for spring break. It gets really crazy here in Miami for spring break. Yes, that is, I will never, ever, ever be in Florida on spring break. I will never be in Louisiana during Mardi Gras. There are just certain things that I stay away from. I want to go to Disney World completely on the off season when there is nobody there. That's when I want to go. Where you don't have to bump shoulders, you don't have to wait in the long lines. That's when I want to go. Charles says, Sly, what is that hanging behind you that is green? Is that a dream catcher? It is. That was a Christmas gift from my daughter. And she wanted me to use it as part of my backdrop. She said that'll add you some lights. Give you something else to look at back there. So, yes. And then she came up with the one next to it. That one. It's more of like a drum with feathers on it. So, yes, the one with lights was a Christmas gift, and then that one someone gave her, and that's not really her style, so she gave it to me. Virtual reality, Mookie. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah. Apple Vision Pro. Oh my goodness. Thank you. Thank you guys. I knew I'd get there eventually. Apple Vision Pro, yes. That is so far above my learning curve that I probably will never get there, but my grandson will. Yeah. Mahash Trahash. Welcome. You're new. Haven't seen you before. I think they no longer make things that are meant to last because it doesn't pay off. I think you're right. Right? Because if I still had that bag, yeah, it's canvas, so it would be disintegrated by now. But yes, you're right. I think they figured out that if you make things that last 30 years and people only buy them once, you either have to have a huge markup on them or, or something to make something better. So Charles says everything was made better in the old days. Then it just went downhill when it started being made in China. Well, yes, sort of, I think. But I also think that a lot of things that our memory has a way of remembering things that we liked. Because I don't really have that bag anymore. Apparently, I think the zipper broke on it or something. So, yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I think that we remember things being a lot better than what they actually were. And the more, it's kind of like the fish story, right? When you caught the fish, he was only this big. But 20 years later, that fish has become this big. So, yeah. So Mahash, I don't know if that's your name. Let us know a little bit about you. And where you're from and all that good stuff. And welcome. We want to give you a big welcome because I don't think I've seen you before. You should go to Europe on Christmas for Christmas markets. Those are magical. As long as they're not crowded. I don't like crowds. But yes, I do hugely, hugely want to go to, there's several countries in Europe that I want to explore and see, and definitely on my bucket list, and I would like to do it before I'm too old to do that kind of stuff. So, yes. Thank you, Lewis. Yes, the Apple Vision Pro. Thank you. Also, I feel that things were made better back in the day. Now things are made with planned obsolescence. Yes. Um, I would have to agree with that. They, especially like these two cameras. I think this camera in particular, this camera right here, is a phenomenal camera. It will do everything but pretty much take the picture for you. But because it's an M camera, they don't make it anymore. So, and they kind of really kind of swayed people into getting into the R system, and the R cameras overheat. I've never heard of anybody saying, oh, my M50 overheated. My M50 Mark II overheated. It was a bad camera. I've never heard anybody say anything really negative about the M cameras. But Canon just decided in their infinite wisdom, oh, let's quit making these and let's start making the R system and get everybody to switch over to that. And then it came out and it had all these problems. Yeah, well, that's don't get me started on a rant again. We'll be here another hour. Where did I? Okay. Mookie says, mine had pockets outside. I think it was made better. Mine got stolen out of my car. I keep searching on eBay for one to pop up. I plan to buy it and see if my memory of it lives up to reality. So I have actually looked in like flea markets and to see if I could find a bag. And I'm pretty sure the size. And I'm pretty sure how the webbing went all the way around the bottom. And I thought I had bought kind of the same thing off Amazon. But this bag is a lot thicker. And I think it has pockets on the outside. And I think it only came in black, maybe. My old one was blue. But it's not as... I don't want to use the word nice. It's not as pliable as the old bag because it's such a much thicker canvas. So, yeah, I just want the bag that I had when I was in high school. Let's see. Unlike the hectic big events you described, Mardi Gras, Miami Spring Break, right? Yeah, I don't deal well with those. I will go to the Tulsa State Fair, which is reasonably busy, but I usually go on days that are not as busy, like during the week, when there's not like huge crowds there, and stay away on the weekends when more people go. Roy says, things will be made crappier as long as we demand the cheaper prices. That is true. And Roy, I am not opposed to paying for goods and services that are worth it. Okay? I have an issue paying $650 for 2 air filters and some wiper blades. Oh, that did include the oil change. So let's take that off the table. So $550 for 2 air filters and 2 wipers. I still would have a problem paying that much for that. So, yeah. So I do think, like these $200 backpacks, I have some. Is it out of camera? No. That one is a $200 camera backpack. The one next to it's a $200 camera backpack. So I do have some. And they probably will last quite a while. Probably longer than what they need to. Because I do change bags quite often. But the ones those are both really big bags. This one is really too heavy for me to carry comfortably. So it kind of gets its little permanent spot on the wall. But the ones that I really like and take everywhere with me are a lot smaller and a lot lighter and a lot more transportable. Um, and so, but they're well made, and I don't mind paying for something that's like that. So I really don't have an issue paying the $200 for a backpack if it fits all my needs. I would probably have trouble paying for a JanSport that was $200. Just saying. Thanks so much for the welcome. Mahashtrahash is complete gibberish, not my real name, so pronounce as you like. I'm 33, male from Israel in California for my PhD. Hello, everyone. That's so cool. So we have people here from around the globe. We have 2 or 3 Aussies. We have a guy popped in from Ireland. We have some Floridians. We have some Californians. One fella that just was in here was from Massachusetts. So yeah, we have people from around the world. So welcome. I hope you feel at home here. Mookie says, I understand about remembering things as being better. I love the $6 Million Man, but when I saw an episode recently, it was a bit awful. Yeah, right. Still a fan though. Yeah, that was back way, I'm dating myself, way back in the day. One of my favorite shows, well, 2 of them, was Bonanza and Big Valley. And now you watch them and you're just kind of like, really? Okay, why did I think they were so great? Because they weren't. Well, perhaps they were for that time period. And we have just we've advanced so far that now they seem a little hokey. Star Trek is another one, right? If you go back and watch one of the original Star Treks with William Shatner, that's another one that's a little on the flaky side. But at the time, it seemed top-notch. Charles says, I used to play with Tonka trucks made out of metal. Yes, Charles, I remember the Tonka trucks made out of metal. And then when my son was young, they were really hard to find. Now Tonka trucks are made out of plastic, just like cameras. That is why Leica is still Leica, top quality craftsmanship. Yes, it is almost impossible to find. And that was 28 years ago. Trying to find a Tonka truck that was made out of metal was almost impossible. I found a what do they call them, a road grader that was made out of metal, but I don't think I could ever find the dump truck. And of course he had, the sandbox, and we played for hours in the sandbox and what have you. And so, I mean, they were thick plastic, but it wasn't the same. Roy says, now I drive an SUV. It has enough ground clearance that I can change the oil myself. Again, if I can work out where to put it in. Will it have a little picture of a little oil can? And my Tacoma's high enough off the ground that I could shimmy under there no problem. It's just, I don't do that anymore. I did that for years, and now my son is doing it, and he enjoys doing it. When I did it, it was out of necessity because I didn't have the funds to pay somebody else. Now I have the funds to pay somebody else. So there's that. But then you get ridiculousness like what I experienced today. And that's where I kind of draw the line, and I'm like, yeah, okay. I'm willing to pay you $100 to change my oil. I am not willing to pay you another $550 to change some wiper blades and air filters. So, had they come back and said, for the wiper blades and the two air filters, there'll be another $150, I might have gone, yeah, okay. But 550? Yeah, no. Thank you. Louis says, I had a Jansport book bag that lasted me from middle to high school and many years after, right? I think everybody, I think every single person at one time or another has had a Jansport bag. I think they are like the the backpack that all backpacks are created against. Does it measure up to a Jansport, right? Because everybody's familiar with that. If you Even if you've never had a backpack, everybody knows, young and old, what a Jansport backpack is, right? That is so funny. Roy says the $6 million man suffers from inflation. Yep. Yep. No titanium there, buddy. Charles is talking to Roy. YouTube University will teach you everything you need to know, including oil changes. Believe it or not, my son has been doing a lot of work on his Mustang, and he actually does YouTube it before he does the work. So okay, is this within the scope of what I'm capable of doing, or do I need to take it to mechanic? So he just bought um, a new radiator and dropped it in, and apparently some of the welded seams, two of the welded seams were bad, and so he had to pull it back out. Now he couldn't weld the seams, so he had to take it to a radiator shop, and they fixed it. But and now I think one of the bolts where it goes in, I think one of those is he's getting maybe a little leakage off one of those bolts. So he'll have to pull it again, take it back in, and he would have exchanged it, but the company he bought it from didn't have any more for like 5 or 6 months. So yeah, just at one point you just got to fix what you got. The leather bottom was key to its longevity. Yeah, but everybody, you say Jansport, and everybody knows exactly in their mind what it looked like, because everybody had one. And most people, if you can have fond memories of a backpack, most people have fond memories of their Jansport. Roy says to Charles, but working it out myself is half the fun. That's true. That's true. And I do, I rebuilt a whole 454 engine with a Chilton manual, because we didn't have YouTube back in those days, right? So you had to read a book. Go figure. But yeah, I remember, having to work through something, and that was half the fun. Now, yeah, we'll just kind of leave it there. But guys, we have made another Friday night, and welcome to all you new people. Love having new people, right? We kind of just talk about anything and everything. So everybody's welcome. And if there's something you want to talk about, we'll go down that rabbit hole for a little bit anyway. Love you guys. I'm so grateful for all of you, because you make my Friday night. I look so forward to spending time with you guys. And obviously we keep running over our time, so that should tell you that I'm enjoying myself. But I'm going to call it a night. Everybody check in on Lewis tomorrow night. And I heard you had a visit from a certain Hawaiian. He called you out the other night on his show. But I love you guys to pieces, and I will see everybody next Friday, same time, 10:30, and we'll do it again. So I hope everyone has a great week. And Mookie, you're as old as I am. Chilton Haynes is the best repair manual. That's funny. Okay. Next week, guys. Same time. Next week, torches and how to use them. All right. Good night, everybody. Love you.